ready for work now, but I'm going to chat with you at the same time. So yeah, disgusting fact. I have to make sure that I don't have any hair. Right. Just do this properly. I don't even know how much you can see, to be honest. But I got on the scales this morning because it's my weigh-in day. And hang on, I'm not sure I don't actually cut myself. If you have the same problem as me, because I've had this problem for years, I've got a hormone imbalance. This is a Panasonic, and you can get different like attachments to it. I'm not sure if I'm completely in view here, but never mind. I've got to get ready for work. So yeah, it was my weigh-in day today. I'm using aqueous cream aloe vera because I get really sore eyes, so I just can't use just anything as like a moisturiser on my skin, if you know what I mean. To get really sort of sore eyes. I'm not used to using my phone for video and YouTube videos, so I have to keep on checking with the cameras. It's there. I use like an aqueous aloe vera cream for my skin. Yeah, so work day today. I just work 3 short days a week. It's a new job as well, so everything is new. I'm trying to get my life back on track with a healthy living, just, you know, depression levels. Lots of things have happened in my family over the last 7 years, including my health. So, you know, I've had a lot to battle with. I won't go into it now, but lots of things, you know, to battle with. So also, guys, I can't see you very well, or my makeup, because I haven't got glasses on. So next thing I'm using is Revolution Luminous Serum Foundation. I'm going to have to look at the other mirror while I talk to you. So last week I lost 3.5 pounds, and I was using ChatGPT to track my, hope you can see all right, guys, to track, I'll show you in a minute when I've done this, my calories, because I've got long hair. Also, I'm really sorry I haven't cleaned my teeth yet. I can't drink tea in the morning whilst after I've cleaned my teeth. I have to drink my tea beforehand. So I'm going to do my makeup and then I'm going to drink my tea. Hopefully it won't be cold. Yeah, I was using ChatGPT. If you've not heard of it, it's like a chat where you can ask questions and stuff about calories and things like that. So last week I lost 3.5 pounds. I was really happy with that. This week, this is why I'm going to keep this channel real, I've lost nothing. And I had a feeling, I could tell, I think, that I hadn't. I've had quite a lot of meals out with hubby this week, but again, I've been really careful. So this is life, isn't it? Now, this could mean that I give up and go, okay, it's not working again. I'm on so many medications. I'm not making that as an excuse, but I don't think it helps. In fact, all of them that I'm on say weight increase likely, so, you know, but I'm not blaming it on that. Slow metabolism, definitely, but it doesn't matter. Like, all of these things don't matter. I have to, you know, get my life in order because the doctor's asking me to do that. He's asking me to reduce my blood sugars and etc. So it's got to be done, you know. So I could get really depressed about it today and give up, or I could decide to ignore it, put it down to the fact that, you know, I haven't lost any this week, but I could lose some next week, and that last week I lost quite a bit. So, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's my foundation. Nice light foundation. I never used to wear foundation, but now that I'm a little bit older, and if you want to know how old I am, I'm 56 this summer, and you know I look it. I've got grey hair, I've got wrinkly under my eyes. Sometimes I think I look better than other days, but most of the time, this is, I don't know what this one is actually, just a little bit of blush. I don't know what make this one is. I don't think this is a particularly good make. It's just easy. I don't know what that one is. I'll probably put some overlays with information on for you when I make the video. Then I'm going to have a plum coloured eyeliner. Let's have another look. This is MUA. This I like because it's not too heavy on my eyes. I only want light makeup. I'm working for the NHS, and a lot of them, the occupational therapists, they don't kind of wear a lot of makeup. I don't know whether that's because it's like, it's not a nursing it's not a nurse exactly, but it's like that type of thing, isn't it? So, you know, going in with a face full of makeup probably isn't the thing, but I wouldn't anyway, because that's not really me. So just a light touch, just to make me feel better more than anything, I think. There we go. Yeah, just trying to make, so this channel is not about beauty, it's just about me and my journey to health, and it's also about craft and how that can help with mindfulness and give us a sense of kind of like relaxation, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it with me. There we are. What else do we need? Maybe a little bit of glitter. Don't worry, we're not going to the disco. This is another MUA. It's cute. Yeah. Just in the corners. Can't really see that, to be honest with you. Let's get my glasses back on. I can talk to you better. There we go. Over there. Yes, this morning I'm going to have Weetabix. It's just a quick, easy fix. I think egg on toast probably satisfies me a lot longer, and to be honest, there's less calories, but the fibre is good for the Weetabix. So I'm going to have Weetabix, which is like two fibrey kind of biscuity things for cereals. And I will put a little bit of sugar on that and count the calories for that. And then I'm going to make some lunch, and I don't know if people are downstairs, then I don't film my children, I don't film my family, so if they're downstairs you might not be able to see me make it, but I'll definitely show you what I had, even if I superimpose it on the video. So yeah, so that's that bit for this morning. I'm going to go and drink my cup of tea now. Night peeps, on the way to work. A lovely day. Didn't get a chance to show you that actually, because the daughter came and dropped my grandson off, so I had to wait for her to leave before I could pull out with the car. I don't know whether this angle's alright, peeps, or not, but I'm not going to be looking at you, I'm going to be driving, so I'm just going to make sure we don't crash because I'm not concentrating. Yeah, beautiful day today. I guess whilst I'm driving then, if I give you a bit more of the backstory as to why I started this channel, that would be handy. I've done lots of channels in the past. I've done a health one before, I'm still doing an adoption one, I do a lot of TikTok lives and stuff for crafting, but obviously going live requires you to be sort of free at that time to do that, and I'll still carry on with that, but it's not the same as sort of prepared content. Look at my steamy glasses. Monica, if you're watching, Monica said, look, I really miss your videos. I'm like, you know what, I get that. You know, there was a time when it's very much part of a community. So at the beginning I did decorative planning, that was my channel, and I really enjoyed that, but I found that the content was only good for that week, because planning is about planning in the moment, you know, in the moment. And I find it quite a hard graft really, because it was quite repetitive, even though when I was more active it was useful, but then I got ill with lots of things, and you know, I wasn't doing very much anymore. I wasn't going out much. This is the reality, that this is the hard bit for me to kind of like talk about, but got very low, very depressed because of some of the stuff that happened in the family, and I also have a lot of illnesses, and I just kept getting like new diagnoses for new things, and I just couldn't believe that I had all those things wrong with me, which I still do. And so I just didn't bother to go out very much, and started TikTok. It was easy to get traction, and enjoyed the lives and stuff, and started making junk journals in a big way and selling them. And I still do that. I'm not making any commissions at the moment because I've kind of put a stop to it so I can catch up with, excuse me, all the subscribers that have requested mini journals. So what you'll see me make on the next video or the end of this video is a small journal that will then be for a subscriber. Okay, so that's that. But being that my health is poor and some of that requires me to lose weight, it may help, it may not, but the doctor's written and said your blood sugars are high, you need to do something about it. That's that. I have lots of things that mean that losing weight would be a really good idea, and losing weight is really tough. I find that at my age it's tough anyway, but then you throw in sort of 3 medications that all pile the weight on. You throw in, you know, a bit of depression and lack of mobility because of pain issues that I have. It just seems like you're climbing, you know, Mount Kilimanjaro really. And so I thought to myself, combine the craft, which is a love and something I don't want to stop, but instead of it just being about junk journals, just being about planning, because I also started a junk journal channel at one point, because I've got quite a few subscribers on it, but, well, we can see me now. But instead of being about just one thing, let's do it about crafts in general, because I've got lots of interests, and also I am an artist, so I do lots of watercolour and stuff like that. So why not combine? And then I thought, well, I'm going on this journey to start a healthier lifestyle. Never before have I prioritised that in my life. So, you know, why not try to include that on the channel? That will be a challenge for me, because sometimes if I'm not filming my family, I can't really show stuff when my family's in the kitchen. But what I could do is when I'm crafting, show you some of the healthy snacks I've prepared, either for then, I eat them when I'm crafting, or for the day. And I can let you know why I've chosen certain things for the calories, because what I'm doing is I'm using calorie deficit. There's lots of ways you can lose weight, and I don't say that there's any one particular good way. You just have to consume less than what your body needs so that you can lose weight, okay? That's my view on it. Now, calorie counting isn't much fun. I don't weigh food, but I will just have a very rough idea of what it is I'm eating and what the calories are involved in that, so I can keep track during the day, and then I know where I am in the evening. Now, clearly this week that hasn't worked for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to continue to do it. If I never lose weight over the next 6 weeks, then we've got a problem, haven't we? Might have to stop the channel and start again and call it How Not to Lose Weight. But yes, so I want you to come on the journey with me, not to watch me getting slimmer, that's not what it's about, but to watch me eat, try to make healthy choices, which is something I'm really bad at. It won't be that I never have snacks and I never have treats, because that's not life, you know. So I will be including chocolate. Maybe I'll show you that I'm eating that sometimes, that you see. And the exercise I do is got to be really gentle because of, well, long story, but possibly autoimmune arthritis. I don't know. They're testing me for that, so I don't know. But it's got to be gentle because of the pain. Okay, so it's going to be manageable for everybody. Like if you're a similar age to me, or if you've got health conditions that make it really hard to be healthy, if you've got health conditions that give you pain, and you want some ideas for kind of taking you out of yourself a little bit, then the crafting will help. So that is the reason why I'm combining the two things. And you know, one of the reasons why I went for the job is to get me out myself. I mean, my whole career has been working for myself. 22, 23 years running my own children's day nurseries. Before that, it was just light touch jobs that I had as a teenager. So, you know, applying for a job and getting it was momentous, really. And it still is. Like, I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I do question whether it will work out. But there's no reason why I wouldn't, because the people that I'm working with are absolutely lovely. It's only my confidence, my age, my confidence, and what I've gone through for the last 7 years that make me question it. So I'm at the traffic lights in a minute. I'm really sorry about the sun, but it's a lovely day. So yeah, they've been so supportive of me. There's no reason why this job won't work out. So yeah, I'm nearly there now. So guys, I'll see you later. Okay, so now we're on to the final part of what we're going to be doing today, which is the actual craft. And I've also got a little bit of a healthy snack with me, because I'm going to get a bit peckish, I think. So I've got myself a nice orange, a nice couple of big strawberries. So they're not in season at the moment, but when they are, we'll have some from the gardens. That'll be great. And I have my little signature crafted roots dangle as well. I'm going to give you a top-down view when I'm actually getting on with the craft, so don't worry. I have an inker, and I don't know what you call this, but a dauber or smoosher, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is entirely optional. If you want your journal to have a very antiqued vintage look, then you can add extra ink around. If you don't want to do that, or you find the papers you're using have already got that, then you don't need that. Okay, so that's extra. I've got a piece of paper which is nicer than what I would normally use, but I've lost my original, where I'm going to show you how to fold so that we make where the holes are going to go in the journal when we sew. So it is a bit of a nicer piece of paper. You could just literally have an ordinary piece of paper to do it, but the reason why I'm doing this is that I don't want to lose it, because I've already lost one. And then I have my printed kit. So this came from, is it Printed Porch or something like that, but I'll link it, or I'll make sure there's an overlay for you so you can actually see where I got it from. So this is a teddy bear kit here. All right, so I have a number of pages which I will show you top down in a minute. Now, because I printed these out on, I think it was 100 GSM, which is not that thick, then I am going to back mine with other parts of the kit. All right, so I'm going to stick those together. So you will need some glue if you're going to do that. If you're going to print out on thicker paper, so say at least maybe 140, you won't need to back. So it's up to you which way you want to go, okay? If you want to have plain pages on the other side, or you want to try and print back to back, it's up to you. But this time, and I do it different every time, I'm going to actually double up my paper and glue mine together to make front and back pages. So we have those, and this is a small journal, okay, and I'm doing it for Dawn. So Dawn, if you're watching, and then I do have ephemera, but we're not going to use that today. Okay, I do have ephemera. Then what you need is a piece of scrapbook paper that you like for the cover, and it doesn't have to be that thick. So if your inside pages are not that thick, then your front cover does not need to really hold any weight. Unfortunately for me, I like this, but this is not relevant to the theme. So I am actually going to be backing mine with a piece of thin card, but you don't need to do that. So you could start off with thin card, you could start off with scrapbook paper that you like, that fits with your theme. It's just that the way I've done it, I need to back mine. So as you can see, you can make anything work you want to. You may need a ruler, possibly, because we'll need to make sure that, in a way, this is slightly bigger than what the inside page is going to be, just to give it a little bit of scope, so you might need that. And I do have some embellishments which I pulled out. I can't remember whether this was gifted to me or whether I bought it as a pack from somewhere, but I think that these colours are going to really nicely fit the teddy bear theme. So I've already had a little look around to see what I can find. Sorry, I know the camera's here on the phone. I'm so used to recording on a camera that I forget to look over there. So I think that's going to really fit well with the theme. So I have that in the background ready, but again, we don't need that yet. Probably the most important thing you're going to need is the wax thread. You can try and use cotton, strong cotton, or twine. You can try and do that. My advice to you is, if you can get hold of some wax thread, I would, because it's just going to make it a lot easier, the whole process. And then you need a darning needle, which has got a decent sized eye for the wax thread. And I like to use mine with a little bit of point on it. Possibly you don't need to, but if it's sharper, it will go through easier. So you need that. And last but not least is something called an awl, which is AWL. Now mine's seen better days, and I will say to you that you don't have to use this. If you've got another sharp implement that you can make a clear hole with, you don't have to have one of these, especially when you're starting. Just find something that's got a sharp point that's going to, you know, make it easier to make the holes through the paper. So the wet glue I use is called Crafters, Noble Crafters Professional Glue. It's quite strong, but obviously it's wet. So the danger with that when we're sticking pages together, which I'm going to be, is actually it's going to take quite a long time to dry, and it's going to take quite a long time to demonstrate. So I also have, I hope it's in here, yeah, some really good stick glue, and you can't go for cheap stick glue if you really want it to do the job. This is Scotch. So if you're in the USA or anywhere else, I'm not sure you can get this, but a really good quality stick glue can do the job when it comes to sticking pages together, and I might well do that. Now, as I said to you, I've used quite thin paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back every single one of my teddy bears. And as I say, there's lots of kits you can buy that are going to make making a very simple junk journal very easy for you. You know, it really isn't complicated. So I've got the back door open at the moment, so I do apologise if you get a little bit of banging and blowing and seagulls and stuff like that. So, as I said, I'm going to use this stick glue, and we're just going to stick together two sides nice and neatly. And I'll show you a couple of these. All right, and then I'll do probably the rest off camera because I don't think you need to see every single one. Just put a good splattering on. It does use quite a lot of this, I guess. But as I say, dries quicker, and if it's a decent stick glue, there'll be no issue at all. So it might take me a couple of weeks of videos to get used to filming on a phone rather than a camera, which is what I'm used to when it comes to YouTube. It's not quite right, but I think it'll be, yeah, that'll be good enough. Okay, so that's one. And we are going to be trimming around the edges as well, because we don't need all that white on there. And that's going to give us a bit of room so the cover is a little bit bigger as well. That's that one. Let's do this one. They're very cute prints, aren't they? And as you can see, the back will give room for writing and the front will give the decor. So I hope you like the kit, Dawn. I didn't really have that many resources of my own for a teddy bear theme, so I just found one kit that I thought was really, really nice. So there we go. Got that done. And throughout this video, I'll probably do like different angles for you. You know, especially when I'm having a snack, talk to you about how this week has gone, kind of with my diet and my stuff like that. I'll have a little chat to you in a minute. Let's keep it real, guys. Keep it real. On there. Okay, right, we've got them all ready. Now, you've got a choice to make. You can either cut everything, if you've got white around, you know, you can do that at the beginning, or you can do it at the end. It doesn't really matter. It's probably easier to do it at the beginning, so that's what I'm going to do now. You might have to just stick with me to do this, because otherwise I'm starting the camera all the time, but I guess I could edit some of it out. So we cut around the edge, don't have to be too precise. You can corner round, if you've ever heard of a corner rounder. If you want to make the corners look round, you can. But bearing in mind we're trying to keep this nice and simple, then, you know, we're just going to stick to the basics today. Now you notice this one's smaller, so I might actually use this one for the middle of the journal. So you can keep everything exactly the same size, that's going to be nice and easy, but sometimes I think it's nice to have a little bit of variation. So this one is a little bit smaller, and it just came as part of the kit. I paid around about, I think it was £3.25 for the whole kit. It was quite good value, there was quite a lot of pages in it, because it had the teddy bear pages for the actual journal, and it had the ephemera, but there are also some add-on kits as well to this, so you've got lots of options. It might be called My Porch Prints, but anyway. By the way, this is what my outside garden looks like today. It's absolutely beautiful. Right, okay. So the hardest thing that I find about healthy eating, healthy living, is thinking it through and planning. It's not so much the eating the healthy stuff. I think it's more that we live in such a rushed society that the food, along with everything else, has to sort of come quickly, and it's easier just to grab something out the cupboard and not have to prepare anything. I think that's the biggest problem that I have. By the way, I will let you know how many calories this is. There's 1 satsuma, 2 large strawberries. It's not that far off lunchtime actually, but my hubby's gone upstairs to have a kip with my grandson, because our other grandson from a different daughter and son-in-law broke his arm really badly yesterday. He fell over in PE and he literally fully broke his arm, as in fully broke it. So we had the other grandson yesterday and overnight. So my husband's especially tired. I've been tracking, you know, I do have some similar breakfasts, but I'll do a video at some point where I show you the types of stuff I'm eating throughout the day. But I find that some things that you have that you think are healthy, and they are still full of calories. And obviously, if part of the goal is to lose weight as well, then you can have them, but you have to make sure that you have then totted that up for the day, so that you're not suddenly finding yourself using so many calories that it's not going to be possible to lose weight. So I use ChatGPT and I say, right, this is what I've had for breakfast. I give it quite a lot of detail. It stores it in its memory. So next time I say I've had Weetabix for breakfast, it will know how many calories that is for me. So that's how I'm doing it. And Matt have mentioned that already. Regardless of whether I'm losing weight quickly, slowly, I'm trying to change this about my relationship with food. Now, getting on to that. My relationship with food is, when I'm stressed, I eat. And when I'm tired, I eat. It's the first thing I do for that sense of gratification. There are other things I do, and I'll get onto that on other videos because I think you'll find it interesting. But food is definitely one of them. I don't actually eat particularly big meals. I never have done. I wouldn't say I've got a massively sweet tooth, but if it's there, I'll eat it, and chocolate is definitely one of those things. And I wouldn't say that I don't like healthy food, because I do. So it is about an attitude and mindset to food, I think, which lets me down, rather than, you know, if I really thought about it, the choices that I would make. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I'm sure you don't want me to sit here while I eat all of the snack. So, you know, I'll edit a little bit of the snack eating out, and we'll get back to the journal. Let's not lose the needle. I think I'm going to fold these and do them folded. It's another bit. There's obviously, what I've done is cut on one side, and then the other side's got a bit of white on it. I mean, does it really matter? No. Because if you inked it, it's probably not going to be that noticeable, but let's try and get it right from the beginning. These are the cutest of papers, aren't they? So if you haven't yet subscribed, I think it would be, let's do something wrong, not quite square there, worth it, because I do think you will find me easier. And if you click the notification bell and say all, then you definitely will, well, you should be notified. Not loving the fact that that's like that, but as you can see, you know, you might have to wrestle with it a little bit, and that's okay. Do not let anything worry you. It's paper. So the worst that can happen is that you have to start again and throw it out. And yeah, it would be costly, I suppose, but I think people get too stressed about it being perfect. No, it's not right down the bottom. I'm going to neaten that up at the end. I'm not going to fuss about it now because it's going to take too long otherwise. It's good for you to see that all is not always perfect. Do it on the back as well, just a little bit of inking. There we go. Next one. Hopefully we won't have the same problem with this one, should we see? That's better. As I said, I just use my scissors to, you know, get the folds in. I think I must have been the way I folded that one to start with, perhaps. This one. So I'm only using a few pages in this journal because it is a gift and they are supposed to be simple. That's why I'm showing you as I'm saying it's an easy journal, because it's just simple pages going in and not too many. But you'll be surprised how much the journal will bulk out when we do some more complicated things in it. I'm showing you like quick, easy journal. If you didn't want to do anything else to it, it would be done. But I will be showing at some point in one of my videos how to make it super pretty on top of just doing the pages. That's one. Kind of seems to kind of fall that way then. All right, so that was the middle. I'm not sure that it really matters with these because the way that I've done it, we've got writing on the back and tellies on the front. I think, to be honest, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So if you want to use this kit, I'm going to tell you it's kind of handed to you with enough journal space and enough decorating. There we go. So there we have it. We want them nice and flush together. There is a bit of discrepancy in them, but as I say, I don't mind that personally. It may be that later I trim them down if I'm not happy, but at the minute I think I'm okay with it. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make our template, all right? And we will, I didn't mention, but we will need to clip this to hold it together. So any sort of clip will do. So we say, give yourself a bit of scope. So you give yourself, say, 7 centimetres. Again, you don't need to be too technical about it. There's your piece of paper that you're going to use. I'm just going to cut that out. Okay, now I don't always do it this way, but I know a lot of people who do. So I've got orange nails now. And I guess for a beginner especially, this is quite a nice easy way to do it. So you fold the paper in half. Now we're only going to have literally one hole, one hole, one hole. If you're making a bigger journal, you'd have several rows of them, but we're only going to need one, okay? So we're going to find the middle of the paper. So we fold it that way. And we'll fold it that way. and there's the middle. Mark the middle. Okay, now what we're going to do is fold it the other way, like that. Mark this one. I'm going to do it this way round. Sorry about the door, everybody. It's because I've got my back door open and it's blowing through. But I might have to shut it if it keeps doing it that much. Right, there we go. Alright, so that's the 3 holes. And now we're going to use that on there to go through. But we're going to get our clips. Now when I say clips, I don't mean what I'm using now. I mean like a dog ball clip sort of thing. But this is all I can lay my hands on at the minute, so that's what we're going to use. And it's a thin journal, so I can use this, but I really meant, yeah, something a bit more substantial really. However, these won't get in the way too much. Now, let's find, obviously because I've mucked this bit up, I've made it hard for me to see where the fold is. So let's go back down again so we can just see where it is. So there's the fold. This is what we're aiming for. And we're aiming for these holes to be on that fold. So it might be easier to move this along and put that there like that. And then do the same at the bottom. You don't have to do this, it just makes it easier to keep it all in one place if you don't want a bit of a disaster, you know. Because you want to see, when you close it, that those holes are in the middle, right? Now I would say sometimes when you do the awl, it comes sticking out in the wrong place. It does happen. If that happens, don't panic. Just pull the awl out and you're just going to have to accept there might be a random hole where you didn't want it. Now, I do know, I can't remember who it is, there's someone on YouTube who does do the things where you can put it in the wood and you can poke through, which is a great idea. I don't have one of those though, so we're not gonna use one of those. We're gonna go for the middle hole first, very gently. We're gonna see if we can get it to come out where we need it to. I think I can see that it'll be okay, so there it is. Once you've got that far, you just need to kind of really go for it. Personally, I like to have a hole that's really easy to find, so you know, you don't have to. You can make it a little bit smaller. So that's that one. I'll do this one. Check we're coming out in the right place. There we go. Do be careful of these because they're very sharp. You need to be really careful of your fingers. And last but not least, the top one. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that just happened to go well for me, but it doesn't always, and I don't want you to think it does. All right, got the 3 holes. Okay. So you can keep this, you know, for each one you make, which was what I intended to do with the last one, but didn't. All right. Now, people will say, you will hear them say, do 3 times the kind of height of the journal, but I always do quite a bit more than that. And the reason why, because when I make my little journals, I like to put beads on the end of the strings, but you don't have to, okay? So you go with however long you want them to be. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I'm actually going to leave myself 4. Then we're going to thread the needle, and the next bit's a bit that people think are the most difficult, but if I'm honest, I think gathering the papers and getting the hole straight is the most difficult. This should be nice and easy. Leave yourself quite a lot of thread so you don't lose it along the way. Okay, now we're going to go in through the middle. I'm just gonna leave as much string as what you want to leave, okay? So I'm going to leave enough because I want some beads on there. And I'm going to go up through the top. Make sure it's gone through properly. Okay. So on the outside, you're going to have that. At the moment it's all baggy because, you know, we haven't finished it. Then we're going to go down to the bottom. The inside just goes all the way down. Like that. And then we're going to go in through the middle again and try not to split this string, but sometimes that just happens, and again, do not panic if it does. It'll still be all right, it's just going to make it a little bit harder for you when you're tying the things, but it'll still be okay, so don't panic if it does do that. So in through the middle, and it's nice if you can get it to come the other side, but again, it doesn't matter, okay? So again, don't panic if it doesn't. It's not going to make much difference overall. It's just easier, yeah? So then we've got this. Now you're going to pull this tighter than you think you can, because this is really strong and your paper should be fairly strong. So you're going to really give it a good yank so that when you look the other side, they're nice and flush. Give it a nice yank, and then we're going to just tighten a knot, and then we're done. Like that. Like that. And then you cut your strings how you want, okay? So if you don't want to see strings, you just cut them close. If you want to do what I'm going to do and put some like beads on the bottom, then cut them to where you want to be. So I'm going to say, just match mine up there. Now, I've made that easy because we've left that piece in there, okay? Now thinking about it, I could have done it differently. So I've shown you a way that I don't normally do it. However, that is going to make it easier for you because that paper's in there, and I did say to you, you can save it. Or we can rip that paper off. So I think that's what I'm going to do because I don't normally have the paper in there. But you could leave the paper in there because it doesn't ruin the journal, especially if it's pretty. So that's what I'm going to do, okay? Now obviously the way that you would do it without leaving the paper in there at all is you'd make the holes with the paper and then take the paper away before you then thread up, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I just did it completely different from what I normally do it, but never mind. So there we go. Now we have our lovely, lovely little journal. And we're going to just flatten the pages a little bit. Again, use a bone folder if you want to do it differently. I just use my scissors. And you may not have all these things, so I'm trying to make it like you could do it with the least amount of tools. You may not think you like this whole thing, or you might get into it big style, therefore you might want to invest in more things, but at the minute you may not want to. So obviously what I didn't do was put a cover on it. So why didn't I do that? Because I wasn't concentrating. Right, everybody, well, I was supposed to be at the end of the video, but then I wasn't happy about the fact that I didn't include a cover, because I don't want you to think that like I'm cutting corners or I don't know what I'm doing or anything. So what I did in the end, this is now what the journal looks like, okay? So I cut out one of the images and put that on there. I double backed this paper like I said I would with some card. And I also put some vellum pockets in there as well. So it was actually really easy to add this cover on afterward. I thought it was going to be really difficult, which is why I didn't do it first of all on camera. So I just traced the holes back through again. I didn't even need to like separately mark out the cover, and I just went through and did the same stitch again. And the only difference is that we now have 4 strings hanging down. You can see it's still nice and neat. So actually Dawn's going to get more beads on it. So yeah, this is now what the journal looks like. And let me just show you as well. I have actually made a secret pocket there, but it's something I can show you another time. So there we go for the journal. Okay, just wanted to show you that. we now have more of a finished article than what we had before. Hope you like it, and hope you will join me, that's halfway, for my next video, when we will be putting some pockets and tags and stuff like that. And say the next video could be completely different crap, but what I mean, the next video for this journal will include like how we're going to make it look really beautiful. So guys, don't know where I'm looking, but I hope that helps, and I'll see you soon.